We want it to be something that makes people feel good, makes people feel like they can be their best when they're going out on their run, whether it's an easy run or a long run.
Tyler Strothman is the founder of Veloci, a bold, new player in the running shoe market. A recent Rice University graduate with a degree in sports management, Tyler launched Veloci from his garage, blending athletic insight with entrepreneurial grit. In a market dominated by giants, he's rapidly gaining traction by focusing on what runners really need: comfort, performance, and innovation, without compromise. If you're passionate about running or dreaming of launching your own product, Tyler's journey from athlete to entrepreneur is one you don't want to miss.
Very big about being intentional on creating just good quality product. It's a naturally shaped toe box for foot comfort.
Okay.
And then an elevated heel for lower leg comfort. That's what it's designed for.
Well, how did you get your first customers? Did you have to beg your friends to buy shoes? Good morning, runner viewers, and good morning, Tyler.
Good morning. Good morning.
I am super excited to run with you this morning and talk about running shoe brand and how you were growing it.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to share.
Yeah, so let's dive in. Veloci Running shoe. What gap did you see on the market that you were trying to fill when you started?
Yeah, so really it started when I was running at Rice University, running track there. I was having a lot of foot pain from the front of my foot. And so it was because of more narrow toe boxes and a lot of traditional running shoes. They narrow in, cramp the front of the foot, and cause foot pain. And so my feet were hurting. Worked in running stores, and I knew about shoes that were shaped to better fit the natural foot shape.
Okay.
I was like, great, that's exactly what I need. Started running in those shoes, and they're more barefoot, minimalist roots, cause their heel to be lower than the shoes that I was used to running in, which as a result was pulling on my calf and Achilles. It felt like I was replacing one pain for the other because it was causing me lower leg tightness. I didn't want to choose between that, and worked at running stores and worked with so many other runners, and I was like, I feel like this is something a lot of other runners would benefit from as well and would like, why not go out and see? And so it's a naturally shaped toe box for foot comfort.
Okay.
And then an elevated heel for lower leg comfort. That's what it's designed for.
All right, wow. So what does the name, well, first of all, how old were you when you had that idea?
I just turned 21. It was just a little after turning 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
Now I'm 22.
Okay, wow. So in a year, such a big progress that we're going to discuss. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a year and a half now since I started really diving in.
So how do you position yourself, or Veloci, when I say yourself, I meaning Veloci brand, against the performance running shoes then?
Yeah, great question. So I think the first thing is really just leaning into what we're designed for. Like we have a specific use, and it's that shoe shape, and then all of those other aspects that we really enjoy that we found a lot of other runners seem to enjoy. And so just sharing that, and then sharing outside of that what the brand has to offer. So very big about being intentional on creating just good quality products. And so that goes from the shoe once you're putting it on, but even like the packaging that you have, like a nice slide out box and all of that. And so just really working to create a product that to the highest level that we can have is the best product we can make. And I think that stands out.
It sure does, and the color green, it goes with nature too.
Oh yeah, we love the color. And kind of getting into, I think you were gonna ask about where the name comes from.
Yes, exactly.
So Veloci is Italian for fast. And so when designing the shoe, I was very big about, whether it's the name, the colors we use, things like that. We want it to be something that makes people feel good, makes people feel like they can be their best when they're going out on their run, whether it's an easy run or a long run. And so Veloci meaning fast, the feather and that feeling of lightness, and then our color, it's British racing green. And so it's used on really sweet F1 car, and so like that.
Who was helping you with all this? Or what the ideas and kind of come up with this?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in an accelerator program last summer, and that was great.
With Rice?
With Rice, yeah.
Okay.
Lots of great mentors, and just along the way, lots of really great people to learn from, and learning as much as I could from them, and then applying it in the best way possible.
It's showing up in the product.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the design, right? What was your vision for the first pair in terms of design, and how did it evolve?
Yeah, it continuously evolves, I think, in as you go throughout, like you make adjustments to improve it, always. And so definitely it was very different from where we kind of started at, in the sense, like where I was thinking initially, but there are some core aspects that ended up staying the same. We definitely wanted to go with a more like premium, clean look. We didn't want to add too much on the shoe.
Okay.
I feel like some shoes, they can get a little too like in your face with color, or just like a lot of extra stuff that I felt like clutters the shoe. And so we wanted something that had just a really nice, clean look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you walk me through the prototyping process?
Yeah.
And how many iterations did it take to get to your first pair?
Yeah, so many iterations. I don't have any idea how many, and I hope to never know. It was a lot of steps, but especially just being, it being the first time, having to learn about so many little things about shoes that I had no idea about before. And so it was just a longer process a little bit, just because of that learning curve.
So was it at Ion or prototyping or at Rice? Where did you do it, and who was involved?
Yeah, so we produce overseas, and so the people we work with overseas, our partners there, they have, it was iterating with them to get the product made, just because those were the same people that would be producing it. And so
got it.
You prototype with them and make sure that, then it's like when you get to production, the shoe's ready to go.
So then once you have your first prototype, you got to test it, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
How were you testing the shoe? Were they lab tested?
Yeah.
In person, both?
They were tested, by myself, a lot of teammates, and then a lot of people in the Houston running community. They're running store owners, running store employees. One running store owner, like he was a podiatrist, stuff like that. And so, really it was just like, we had shoes. To me, the best way to test shoes is to go out and run. And so I was putting a lot of miles on it, and then just getting them on everyone that I could.
And then you would get the feedback provided back to the prototyping, and they will make adjustments?
Yep, exactly.
Wow, interesting. Did you have to work with sports doctors to help with the design?
So we'd kind of go back and forth with like one supporter, one mentor, like he's a physical therapist, some different people in that process, especially as we were designing more so our stability shoe, our second shoe that's coming out. But a lot of it was done with people that more so they're in the footwear industry, they've been in the industry for decades, and they're able to provide support and guidance on some of the like core functionality aspects. And then again, overseas, that who we work with, they have the experience in the engineering and the pattern making background to ensure that there aren't little nuances that get in the way of making a nice product.
Got it. The design phase. I'm sure there were lots of challenges. What are the biggest challenges that you could remember, and how you were overcoming them?
The biggest challenges, I think one of them was just the pure like reality of doing it for the first time. It's like there's so many aspects of a shoe and like ways that you can adjust things to make it better or worse. And so it's learning all of those different things and then learning how to adjust them to make the shoe really nice. So that was.
Okay. Do you have a partner, or is it you by yourself? Because sometimes when you have somebody along the way, it might be easier.
So for a lot of the first year, it was myself. There were a lot of people supporting, and then eventually, like, we were able to start growing the team. And so there's someone named Blake. he's on the team. He does awesome. And then he started joining, and then Austin joined full time, and so
Wow.
he's full time now. He's my partner. But,
That's awesome. What kind of data or user experience did you have to use to know, okay, we're ready for launch?
It was, I think for part of it, it was a little bit of just a gut feeling, like kind of intuition of like,
Okay.
you get it on enough people, and it's like, first it was like, I mean, before we had shoes, I was out sharing about what we were working on making, and you know, it's like the response was super positive there. I felt like really resonated with wanting something like that, and it was like, okay. Then we got to the actual, you know, like when we finally had shoes, and it was testing it, doing all of that, and it's like durability looked good, comfort was good. We liked the materials that we're using, all of that, and we were like, okay. Time to move forward. Yeah.
Okay, so then moving to launch, how was it? Was it a quiet rollout, or was it a big splash?
I think it was a great splash. It was I would say it was like a special splash.
Tell me more.
We celebrated at Accelerate with the Velocii Run Club group, and it was it was special. Like, it was with a lot of people from the Houston running community that have supported the journey for so long, and that was just super awesome. And it was a blend of people from the Houston running community as a whole, and then a lot of really close Rice friends, and just a really nice way to launch the brand.
We recently interviewed Alicia.
Yeah.
And she did say that she loves the shoes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
You're definitely known within the Rice community and larger Houston community as well. And I'm sure now spreading into other states.
Yeah. Let's get in there. We've sold multiple pairs in every state, every US state.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty exciting.
That is
We're
exciting.
excited to see that.
Well, how did you get your first customers? Did you have to beg your friends to buy shoes?
Yeah. Well, the first customers, we actually opened pre-orders.
Okay.
And
that's
so
smart.
it was combined with the shirt and some other good stuff, a deal. And those are some of the first people that purchased Veloci shoes. It was back in the fall, and so really awesome. Whether it's, there are a lot of people in the Houston running community, friends, family, and then some people that they had just been following on social media and decided to purchase. But yeah.
Do you think the fact that you are a runner yourself maybe made consumers more confident in the brand?
I think so. I think there's something to be said about when you're creating something new and it has like intentional purpose. And it's the purpose is kind of derived from something that other people were feeling. I think that really resonates and people understand it. And I think in general, just being able to understand this is a legitimate pain, and I know because I felt it, it really is impactful when it comes to those first steps of identifying something to really work on solving.
Absolutely. I mean, we love running.
Yeah.
And when we feel pain during this experience, that really turns us down. So it's great that you're turning this around.
Yeah.
How about early adopters? What was their response? Was it what you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, you work for so long on something for so many hours, and it was definitely like, I was so nervous when it came to the first shoes landing and seeing how people like them, just because it'll be a more grand scale then. And it's been great. I feel like I couldn't have really asked for any better. It's been an awesome first 4.5 months now, 5, right about actually 5 months since we launched, and so it's just been a crazy and fun experience.
And you're graduating this year?
I graduated 2 weekends ago, like 10 days. So
now you're fully employed.
There we go, fully employed.
Growing your brand.
Oh yeah, full-time Veloci.
Perfect. What were the biggest challenges in that launch phase for you? We talk about design, now let's move to the launch challenges.
I think it was shifting, understanding to living in almost like new timelines. It's like for so long you're working for something in the future, and then now it's here. And so it's working to understand, like, how do you build out to make sure that everything you're doing in real time goes well, everything that's happening in real time moves smoothly, but then that you can look ahead for the new shoes that you're coming out with, new products, new things you can do to, you know, share more about the brand. And you're working in kind of different, more stages, and there were definitely a lot of things to do. And so really just building out structure for the company, and building out the infrastructure and procedures to make sure that, you know, everything moves smoothly across the board. So that was probably one of the biggest.
Shifting the mindset, okay.
Yeah.
What did you study at Rice? What's your major?
Studied sport management.
And then did you do entrepreneurship too?
I did. I took a few of the classes, and I mean, I was in the accelerator. I was in pretty much any outside of class participation you could be in.
Okay.
And so definitely heavily involved. I didn't end up getting the minor, unfortunately, because really wanted the most time that I could to put toward Veloci. And so I didn't get that. I took a lot of the business school classes, but then I dropped that major as well so that I could work on growing the business. So
do you think though that the experience or the education that you received was helpful for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, Rice Sport Management's incredible, and they have a lot of really wonderful people that are teaching you, especially just from the point of, you know, going into college. It was things like building out a really strong resume, or doing, you know, just kind of these core things that when it comes to establishing yourself in a career, like, you get to learn for the first time. And there are great people that are teaching you across the board how to just set yourself up well, and how to be prepared to go into whatever company that you're looking at and have an impact.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have those opportunities and mentors who can help aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about mistakes or failures.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of discussion about failures and how important they are. What failures, mistakes did you have along the way that actually you learned from?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree. It's when it comes to like mistakes or failures, there are a lot of times where you make decisions, especially in entrepreneurship, and you're like, okay, I wish going back maybe I would have done this or done that or done certain things differently. But it's just about, I think it's like always self-correcting, like adjusting the boat, you know, and little movements, instead of like, oh, this is wrong, so let's completely pivot, or staying on one track so long that you know, get too far down the road. So I think I think the experience has just been continuously just kind of little adjustments here and there.
But you're okay with that? Are you the type of person that is resilient?
Yeah.
Or is it something that you had to learn along the way?
Yeah. It's I'd like to think I'm pretty resilient there. I'm pretty easy to like forget, and so you just move on from it. But that's definitely also something that in the earliest stages I wasn't as comfortable with, was, you know, accepting that there are things that you just might not get right the first time, but that's okay. Yeah.
For sure. Let's talk about growth.
Yeah.
What's your growth strategy right now? How many pairs of shoes you have? Or not pairs, I mean in terms of models. And how are you growing your market?
Yeah, great question. So really looking forward both short term and long.
Okay.
It's the concept of, you know, with Veloci we have this core feature aspect that we think is really great for people, and that we've had a lot of people really respond positively to, have an impact on their runs or their daily walking. And it's like, how do we get that comfort to more runners, more people that are just looking for day-to-day comfort for more days of their week?
Okay.
And so that's with, you know, we have one line right now. It's kind of like your workhorse running shoe, meant for your easy mileage, long runs, And we're gonna come out with a stability sister model to that. So some people, their ankles roll inward, they pronate when they're running.
Okay.
They need a little more support to move forward naturally. And so we'll come out with that line.
But it will
July.
still be wide toe open, wide toe.
Wide toe and high heel.
High heel, okay.
Yep. And so it's getting that same comfort to more runners because now people that need stability shoes can have that. And then continuing on with a workout shoe later in the year. But
Workout shoe meaning for the gym?
meaning for like the faster days of your training. So
Okay, so
if you're
track.
similar, if you're gonna go and do, you know, a tempo workout or a fartlek or things like that where you're wanting to, you know, you're not racing but you're running fast.
Okay.
That's really where it's specifically designed for. It's like a more durable racer in a way, and meant for, you know, for those runs to be ran a little bit more often. Yeah.
That's awesome. Where did you get the confidence to do it all at this age? I mean, you had the idea. I want to get your thought process and kind of what was happening inside of you, right? You have the idea.
Yeah.
You realize the need. But how do you know
Yeah.
that you're going to succeed?
You don't. And, you know, getting started, really, it was early into college even. I knew I wanted to go into the running industry
Why?
because I loved running. And I was like, this has done so much for me. It'd be so incredible if I could give back to that community, to that sport that had made such a big impact in my life. And
I'm sorry, how old were you when you started running?
I was probably 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty young. And so then it kind of made it easy when I saw this thing where I was like, this is uncomfortable for people. Like, there are people having issues with this, and I think there's a solution that could be had. It was like, there wasn't a like, will it work or not, or anything like that. It was just like, let's make it happen. So, yeah. And I think we made it. I think we're making it happen. Yeah.
But when you're feeling down, I'm sure there were moments like that.
Yeah.
What kept you going? What were you telling yourself
Yeah.
not to give up?
That there was, really, it was just hanging on to the wins, yeah, like any win you have, and then just remembering, you know, all the conversations, all of those experiences with people where it was something that they did want. And so really just like kind of holding on to like the purpose of what you're doing and who you're doing it for, I think really helps to get you through the biggest challenges.
What were the biggest takeaways from Accelerator program?
Yeah, I think that it's, you know, moving fast. I think it's moving fast in a very structured and intentional way.
Okay.
And having the will to make it happen, really like develop it thoroughly.
Cool.
I mean, lots of great lessons in general throughout that experience with the mentors, but
Yeah, mentors, role models, I bet they're very helpful.
definitely. Yeah.
Your childhood and your parents, how impactful, if any, were their professional lives on your career?
Yeah. So
Where you are right now?
yeah. Well, I mean, I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
And so they, you know, throughout it, I think it was a big mindset on gratitude and just really working hard for something. They worked hard to put themselves in better positions and give myself opportunities that they may not have had when they were younger. And so just really being appreciative of that and working hard to do well by that. And so, I mean, you know, whatever it was, whether it's like running or going to like working to go to college and creating the business, you know, there are these people that have worked so hard to give me these opportunities. I want to work hard to do well by them. I think that's a big thing.
Are you the only one in the family, or do you have siblings?
I have siblings, yeah. Yep.
Are they runners too?
They're not runners, no.
You didn't inspire them.
They ran a little bit. A couple of them, yeah.
Okay. What's next for Veloci? Now we know you're running in the shoe or new shoe that's not in the market yet, but it's gonna come out soon. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we're gonna have at the end of July, early August, we'll have this shoe come out. We'll have our stability shoe, the Mesa, come out.
Okay.
And so we'll have that release. Outside of that, we'll have some new colors, a collaboration we're really excited about. And then it's working on continuing to grow the brand, continuing to get it to more people. And so we're gonna actually open Veloci up in Canada at a larger scale.
Oh, wow.
In August, so we're super excited for that. I think that'll be a really fun
For sure, Canada is
us.
such an active country.
Yeah. So really looking forward to that as well.
But how are you, well, first of all, you're gonna stay for now at least in the shoe market, or are you planning to add some apparel as well?
Yeah, so we have a little something in the works when it comes to apparel, but I think we'll have some really fun, especially Houston focused apparel coming out soon. But really at the end of the day, we're a running shoe company. And so it's staying true to that, creating products that complement the running experience, but at the center of the company, keeping our running shoes the main priority.
And how do you reach to your consumers? Is it online only? Are you in the stores? Big stores, small stores?
We're online. We're online at velocirunning.com. And then we're available in running stores across the US in 6 states. And so a lot of different.
What are the states?
It's California, Texas, Louisiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and North Carolina.
Okay.
And so
Colorado?
Not Colorado, not yet.
Okay.
Hopefully soon. We were just there last weekend.
Yeah,
we were there for the Denver Marathon Expo, and so we'd love to be in that area soon.
Is it hard to get in the store? What do you have to overcome?
I mean, it's definitely, it just depends. It's really like my mindset there is we go to the stores, or we have representatives that are going, and it's less so selling like this exact product, but it's sharing, this is our brand, this is why we exist, this is why our shoes are different, why they could be better for people, and usually just informing about like what the value is, and then if you get it on people's feet, I think they've tended to like it. And so yeah, it's been good. A lot of support from the running community.
Yeah, I see you are attending lots of expos, engaging many running clubs. That's exciting. I'm just thinking, from a consumer standpoint, like if I take HEB, right? I know from just business experience that it's hard to get on their shelves. So I'm thinking, how about running and running shoes?
Yeah,
what do you have to provide or tell them, okay, we're gonna deliver X amount of sales, or these are the quantities that we have to always have in stock?
Yeah. So I think when it comes to like getting in stores, it's definitely, there can be the challenge of, really, I think it's like proving why should you be there? Why is it something that people would want, or that the store can sell? Because all of these stores at the end of the day, like they need to be able to have products they can ship or get to customers, especially since, all of them that we've worked with to this point are locally owned, independent stores. It really matters. And so I think just sharing why you're different, and then just like building relationships and being authentic. And I think that, and getting the shoes on their feet as well, just showing them. That's the easiest way to
leading by
about.
example.
Yeah.
If someone were to open a shoe brand, what advice would you give?
It's just persistence, and it's difficult. I think whether it's a shoe brand or anything, it's just like always have a reason, like be different. I think that's a big thing. Like being unique really matters. And so regardless of whether it's a shoe or if it's apparel or if it's, some like obscure tech that I have no understanding of. It's like have like authenticity in your product and in the whatever you're creating, and work really hard to do it well and make sure it's something that people want. Yeah.
You mentioned throughout our run a lot about intention and purpose.
Yeah.
What role did intention play or has been playing in your journey in developing Veloci brand?
Yeah, I mean, throughout most of Veloci, it was, you know, early wake-ups and working late into the night, and it's a lot of time, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of like highs and lows, and really I think I'm a big believer that to really build something that's strong when it comes to like a company, you need to really have that conviction that about the intention like of what you're doing and what it can do. And you know, there are a lot of lows, and that's what I think carries you through, is that it truly matters. And so I think it's everything in creating a company.
You mentioned about getting up early, going to bed at night.
Yep.
And I know, as we talked previously, there were some other sacrifices that you had to make.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, what did you have to maybe give up?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, you give up a lot, I think, taking on entrepreneurship. If you're really going for it, the reality is that like work-life balance, it's not like this, it's like this. And so it's you know, it's very skewed. And so, you know, different things, you know, having to say no to a lot of different stuff. And eventually it was like I, you know, stopped running on the track team to give myself more time. Once we got launched, it was like there was just too much going on. I couldn't, there wasn't enough time. And it was unfortunate because I was also just dealing with breathing issues for so long before that.
Okay.
I got really sick a couple of years ago and tightened up my chest, and so you know, dealing with the breathing issues and the craziness of Veloci, it just made sense to give it all focus.
Do you regret that you made those sacrifices?
I don't. I think that it was, you know, throughout college it was I mean, I absolutely loved being a part of like Rice athletics, being a part of the Rice track team, cross country, and that was a great time, but it was I wasn't able to run healthily anyways, and I really, you know, I loved Veloci, and honestly it's like that's what it took to get it here, and I think it'd be a lot harder if I didn't. And so, or you know, not even just harder, but I think Veloci would not be where it is if I didn't do that. And so yeah.
Well, we talked about what's next for Veloci, but how about Tyler? What's next for Tyler? Or is it the same?
What's next for Tyler? So right now we have all of our shoes in a house. We keep them in a townhouse, and a lot of them are in what will be my future room. And so I'm excited to, we're gonna shift those out this week, and so we're gonna move those into a warehouse.
Okay.
So I'm excited because I'll get my new room for the next year. And so definitely really looking forward to that. And it's just a blast to, you know, loved college, loved graduation, but I'm super excited to be able to just really focus up on this and continue to grow Veloci. It's a lot of fun.
How big is your team now?
So it's myself, it's Austin, he's full-time. There are 2 people that are fractional. So it's not their full-time yet, but they've done an incredible job at what they do. And then we have a great group of people that are in different like internship positions that have poured in as well.
And then I think you mentioned that some interns are not even from the States, right? So you're engaging people from different countries to give you different perspective.
Yeah, we have a great group of people that are a lot of them are from the US. We have one person that he's from India, and so we have a great group. They're all incredible. They bring great ideas and great level of, you know, work toward building. Yeah.
That's awesome. Is it true that you started in your garage?
Yeah. I mean, we still are. We still have it, and we still have a lot of shoes in the garage.
Where is the warehouse going to be?
It's going to be pretty close to Midtown. It's a pretty sweet spot, and we'll actually I think one thing we'll look at is if we want to maybe do some runs over the summer, some special things there. But yeah.
But the office is still at home, right?
So we office out of the Ion.
Okay.
And so
perfect.
we're in the Nexus space with Rice, and then we're also in Boomsling as well. We go kind of back and forth.
In where?
We're in a couple of different spaces that we work out of.
Yeah, I heard that Ion offers some opportunities for entrepreneurs that are just very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, running with you made me remember the Shoe Dog book and the story of Phil Knight.
Yeah.
I think you have lots of similarities, right? You both started in garage. You both saw the need in the market, the niche.
Yeah.
Like you said, found what's unique.
Yep.
Now, for him it was different, for you it's different, but still.
Yeah.
And then started working the way.
Yeah.
So I wish you to achieve similar success as Nike brand did, and hopefully in 10 to 20 years we all be covered in Veloci. Maybe more than just shoes. Who knows?
Hopefully. It's been a great experience, and I think regardless of what size we grow to or don't grow to, it's awesome to just have the opportunity to have an impact on one or more people's, their lives, their running, their just daily comfort.
Perfect. Well, thanks for riding with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's been great. Yeah, I mean, I think really with when it comes to running stores, it's relationships, and you know, it's building relationships both with